Okay, good afternoon, class 7. Please take out your English literature. So we already finished our 9th chapter, The Village Blacksmith. We did everything, right? So we'll not proceed in our next chapter till this unit test. So whenever our unit test will finish, then only we will do our new chapter. Okay, so till then we will do revision work. Okay, so we'll do revision work of first chapter, The Little Green Orchid. Okay, I hope you didn't forget the points. I think you all three of know the project, the poem. Okay, so The Little Green Orchid. So this poem is all about imagination. Okay, all about imagination, imaginary. Okay, fascinated, like fairy tales and all. Okay, so it's all about Walter de la Mare is the poet. So he just imagined himself with that garden, and he just wrote that whatever he feels like. Okay, so it is just not in a fact, not in a base of fact incident, but it is imaginary thoughts. Okay, so he puts his thoughts. So let's see. The little green orchid. Orchid means the garden. Okay, someone is always sitting there in the little green orchid, even when the sun is high in noon's unclouded sky, and faintly drawing goes the bee from rose to rose. Someone in shadow is sitting there in the little green orchid. So he just in first paragraph, what we see is, in first paragraph, someone is sitting, that he himself only. Okay, the poet himself only, sitting in that garden and observing the things. Okay, observing the things, that is high sunlight and high sun rays and unclouded. Okay, the weather is good, and he himself sitting in that garden, and he just observing all the things. Okay, observing what? All the things. The bees were there, flowers were there, and the sun is there, birds are there. So what they are doing? Okay, he just observing that scenario. Okay, yes, when the twilight's falling softly in the little green orchid, when the grey dew distills and every flower cup fills, when the last blackbird says what and goes her wish, I have heard voice calling softly in the little green garden. So actually the birds are not they are not speaking. Okay, they are not able to speak. They will create a sound only. Yeah, the bees, the flowers, the sun. Okay, they will not talk. Okay, but they express themselves only. Understood? They create their own languages. But the poet sitting on the garden and observing their scenario, or as their way of behaving each others. So the poet is actually feeling sitting there and feeling something. Okay, when the twilights, okay, when the sun will go in the evening, okay, when the sun will go in the evening time, that orchid, like that little orchid looks very very, in that time also that orchid looks very good also. And every time, right, every time with the dew means that seed, okay, every time that because of dew the flower gets what, full flower cups, that means full of dew, okay, full of dew. And when the last blackbird, okay, when the bird says what goes her wish, like this, I have heard voice calling softly in the orchid, in the green orchid. So they are just enjoying, okay, and the as well as they are enjoying, as at the same time meanwhile the poet is observing, okay. Not that I am afraid of being there in the little orchid. Why, when the moon's been bright, shedding her loathsome light, and moths like ghosts come, and the horned snail leaves home, I've sat there whispering and listening there in the green orchid. So the poet is not afraid to sit there, okay, the birds are there, everything are there. Why too afraid, right? Why too afraid with that, with the birds, with the bees and all? So he just imagining, because as I said in before, this story, this poem is all about imaginary things, okay, it's all about fascinating things. So he just pretend to afraid, okay, I'm not afraid, okay, I am afraid, sorry, I am afraid, actually he is not, okay. So he just pretending, I am afraid of being there, because that garden is theirs, okay, not his. Yeah, that the bees, birds, flowers, animals, suns, trees, that garden is all theirs only, so not his. So I am being afraid, okay, I am little bit afraid because I am sitting in their place, right? So in the evening time also, when the moons get brighter, and the like fireflies were there, they're so beautiful in that garden, and the moths like ghost, okay, because it never shines, right? Moths, that means kiraru, they never shines like fireflies. So they just like moths like ghost, okay. And horn snail leaves home. Snails, you already know what we call in Nepali chiplekira, right? Snails are there who have horn, and they leave the home, and I've sat there whispering and listening there in the little green orchid. So they are busy with their own, okay, they are whispering, they are talking with each other with their own words. So I am little bit upset, I am little bit afraid, because I am in their place. So I just heard that they are whispering and they are listening each other. Turn the page. Only it's strange to be feeling there in the little green orchid, whether you paint or do, dig, hammer, chop, or saw. When you are most alone, but all but the silence gone. Someone is watching and waiting there in the little green orchid. So in this last paragraph, the poet feel strange, okay, because he thought that they are talking, okay, he just imagined that they are talking with each other. So he said, like, whether you paint or draw, you dig or hammer, everywhere is a, like, everywhere there is an insect, there is something else, there is flowers, there is everything, okay. And if you dig, if you cut it, if you chop it, then silence will gone, okay. And someone is watching and waiting there in the green orchid. So there are so many animals, like, as well as flowers, birds, right? So everyone is there, okay. So everyone is there waiting for someone to come and enjoy themselves, okay. So till up to you, and do revise all the things, okay. I'm doing it because I think you forgot, because of this pandemic scenario. I think you all forgot our previous, whatever we did in class. I think you forgot all the stories, so I just did revision only, okay, for the betterment of yours. So question answer, tick mark, fill in the blanks, true and false. Just go through it and be prepared for your unit test, okay. Till then, God bless you each and everyone.